Happy miracle-filled Monday to you, or whenever you're watching this. I'm sending you blessings of grace, ease, joy, peace, and great love. So if we're friends on Facebook, you may know that my brother-in-law passed away surprisingly and unexpectedly about a week ago. And also, Kobe Bryant died tragically yesterday in a helicopter crash with his 14-year-old daughter. And, people ask me sometimes, how do you know what to talk about every week? And it's really just about what's going on, what is present. I turn inward, and what is the subject that we would benefit most from having a conversation about. And this is what's present for me and present for a lot of people. So I posted something yesterday on Facebook about losing those that we love. And a lot of people, it seemed to resonate for them. So today, that's what I want to talk about, the subject of death, which is a scary one, and one that we don't talk about because it's scary. And I think because of this, many of us aren't as fully present and alive as we can be, and we're not making the most of our human adventure. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So we need to give credence and credibility to both aspects of ourselves. And to be born is essentially to be given a death sentence. This is temporary. It's a temporary reality. So though our bodies are temporary, our souls and our energy is eternal. So when and how we enter this planet or this plane of existence and exit can be very personal and individual. And we know that we give a lot of credence and credibility to astrology. If we get our charts done, it can be very helpful and powerful to know the moment or the second that we took our first breath. It gives an indication of our talents, our propensities, what we're doing here, maybe our soul's contracts. And I believe just as vital and important as our entry into the world is our exit from this world. And I believe there's no such thing as untimely death. I believe we all have our personal, very individual contracts with our souls and with God. And we can't possibly know on this plane of existence what those agreements were. To me, this is why faith is so vital. If we keep our eyes singularly focused on God, then we can just really trust that all is well, all is in divine right order. So often when somebody dies, leaves the earthly plane before us, it can feel like part of us goes with them. In some cases, maybe even dies with them. And the bigger the space that our loved one took in our hearts or takes in our heart, the more confusing and disorienting, painful and devastating it is. It's like they cease to exist. They're no longer tangibly there in the world. And even if we do believe in life after death, they're not here with us. We can't have that conversation. We can't see them. We can't hug them. We can't hear them. It's confusing. It's confounding. How can it be? They were there and now they're gone. And I think it can be so hard for us to wrap our human minds around this concept because on some level, it's not the truth. Innately, we know it can't possibly be the truth. There is a higher order. There is a bigger picture. To cease to exist is simply not possible, but it's clearly part and parcel of our human experience. And this reality of duality, black, white, birth, death, left, right, up, down, right, wrong. And as I have said repeatedly, and I'm sure you know, above this reality of duality is a reality of unity. That place of unity is peace, it's grace, it's compassion, it's unconditional love, and it is eternal life. So why do we do this? Why do we leave that place of heaven? Why do we decide to say yes to this human experience? And I think for each of us, as we turn inward and really consider that form within ourselves, we can start to have our own personal answers to why we did this. I personally think some of the reasons that we decided to leave the Garden of Eden or choose to take a break from heaven to come to earth is to have our own experience of creativity and creation. I also think, and this was my husband's thought, maybe we get a little bored with the perfection of it. he gave me this analogy, and I thought it was so beautiful. It's like all of us are laying on the beach. It's a perfect day. We're angels. We're lined up. We have our wings. It's glorious. It couldn't possibly be any better. It's so perfect. And then we see some of our soul friends, some of our angel friends, deciding that they're going to go get in the water. They're going to leave the beach and go into the water. And we're like, why would they do that? It's so perfect here. Why would they do that to themselves? So we watch, and when we see them flailing and spewing and spinning and freaking out because the water is cold and it's uncomfortable, and they either come back or they go deeper, and we think to ourselves eventually, I could do that. That doesn't look like a big deal. I could go into the water and have that human experience. And maybe we get a little bored. So we decide we want to try it. So we get into the water and we realize it's a lot harder than it looks. It's a lot scarier than we thought it would be while we were clearly on the other side of the veil and on that beach of safety and peace and great love. So I think this is why babies die sometime soon, or we have miscarriages. It's like the soul's going, I changed my mind. I think it's going to be too challenging. I think it's going to be too painful. I've decided I'm going back to the beach. And from the beach side, things look very easy and clear. It's when we decide to get into the water, when we decide to put on our skin suit, when we decide to come onto the planet Earth, that we get confused because we've agreed to forget. We're born with veils over our eyes. We're on a planet of living this perceived reality of separation, which is essentially hell. To be disconnected from God, from unconditional love for a second is literally hell. And many people live their whole lives in that state and place of disconnection. So when we come here, we're essentially hardwired to survive. All of us are born with this innate desire to survive. No organism, be it a bacteria or an animal or a human, willingly lays down their life. We are very, it's very ingrained to continue to want to breathe and live. So Abraham Hicks said, if we knew how great it was to be on the other side of the veil, we would be jumping off of buildings, we'd be shooting ourselves, we would be exiting. But we're not supposed to remember, because we're supposed to be very present and here in this particular reality and experience. It is said that heaven will be better than all earthly pleasures combined. What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no human mind has conceived of, the things that God has waiting for us. My sense is that death is like waking up from a dream. And if you read books from those that have transitioned, or if you speak to women or people, women or men that have had near-death experiences, they speak of how the reality beyond this reality is even more real than this one. This becomes like a dream. So the other side of the veil is our true home. We are on working vacations here, and some of us are having a better time at it than others. It's like a dream, and some people are having nightmares, and some people are having a really wonderful experience. So I love the saying, it's a Sufi quote, die before you die. So what does that mean? It means to live fully on this planet as if you only have a few breaths or a couple of days or a little while left. Just imagine how intense and alive those moments would be. Just imagine how fully present you would be, because you want to suck the juice out of this experience. You want to be as grateful and present as possible, because you know it's temporary. If we remember this consistently, we can tend to have a more joy-filled reality, a joy-filled experience. So the wisdom is really to live fully in each moment, deeply and completely. Then when the moment ends, we don't suffer as much, because living in the moment has been so absolute and so complete. We allow the ego edging God out to be dissolved. We open our hearts and are more fully present to ourselves, to God, to life, and to others. That is heaven on earth. It can support us in transcending this reality of duality when we know that it is temporary, when we consciously consider that and are grateful for this experience. All of us are going home. Every single one of us are on our own current, our own river. And every one of these rivers, yours and mine, and everyone we love, whether they've transitioned or not, we're all going home. We're all going home. So this is actually good news. And the ones that transition before us, I think it's much easier for them than it is for us. It's harder to be left on this side of the veil than it is to leave. So I think a couple of the things that we do to prevent our continued relationships with those that we love, it boils down to two primary areas. The first one is guilt. If we have guilt about things that we did or did not do in relationship with the one that we loved, if we have judgment or we pontificate too long on the what ifs, it really creates a wall around our heart and a wall between the one that we love and ourselves. If we can forgive ourselves, if we can just accept and embrace that everything that happened was fine, it was perfect, we can open the door and the space for continued relationship with the one that we love, that has transitioned, that's on the other side of the veil. We can continue to be in a very beautiful and real and heartfelt relationship. We will see signs. We will see God winks. We'll have dreams. We'll have visitations. And this is a beautiful thing, and I recommend it highly. What do I need to do to open that space for a continued relationship with my friend or my family member or the one that I love that has left? The other quality that prevents us from continued relationship with the one that has transitioned is grief. And grief can be a way that we either consciously or subconsciously want to prove to the one that died, others, ourselves, God, or life, that we really, really, really loved this person. And I know I did this. A friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, committed suicide years ago. And I really went to the depths and bowels of grief. It was so confusing and so soul-shattering, so disorienting. And after really being in this place of grief for quite some time, I realized as he left, part of me was gone as well. I had gone with him. I didn't know if I wanted to be on the planet without him. And then I had the awareness that I need to either make a choice, get busy living or get busy dying. And what I decided to do was to make my life a big, blow it out testament to my love for him. To come back, put both feet into this human experience and say yes, a resounding yes to my life. And I'm solidly back here. And as I did that, it was interesting. I did start to have more dreams about him. I started to see more God winks. He would always talk about if he could be another being, it would be a hawk. I started seeing hawks constantly. So as I made my resounding yes, my choice to be here fully and wholeheartedly, despite my missing his human expression here, the relationship has continued. The God winks have expanded, and the relationship has moved on and become a continuation of our love, a continuation of our celebration of connection. Because again, life is eternal. Relationships are eternal. This human experience is temporal. So we don't want to get so consumed with the temporariness of this reality that we miss the bigger picture. So if I could give one gift to you, if I could say a prayer or set an intention on your behalf, it is despite the fact that you have lost those that matter deeply to you, or that you may lose those that matter the most to you, that you continue to say yes to your soul's adventure here on earth, that you open your heart completely and that you're all the way in with your human experience. My sense is that life on planet Earth is sort of like a working vacation. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So our truest truth is we are going home. We are going back to heaven. We are going home to the Garden of Eden. We're going back to the ocean of grace, great love, grace, ease, compassion, eternal life, and great love. So we want to make the choice. What do we want to do with this working vacation? Do we want to cry and long for home? That's a choice. Or do we want to make the most of this experience, knowing that it is temporary, knowing that we are going home, knowing that that is inevitable. So I made that choice for myself. Excuse me. Coughing up a little bit, something here. To give ourselves credence and credibility as bodies, temporary bodies, but that we are also souls. And to enjoy this experience, despite the pain, despite the bittersweetness of this reality. Sometimes this happens when I'm trying to download big energy. It's like I start to get wobbly. So my intention is to ground myself and to be present here with you. And to connect with you with a wide open heart. And I hope you're doing the same. To be present, to be fully here. To live a big, blow it out, love-based life. Knowing that you are in truth a soul, an exquisite aspect of the divine, and that your presence matters so much. And as you choose unconditional love, as you choose peace, as you open your heart to saying yes to this reality, you create the space for grace. You become a miracle worker. Not only do you start to feel better and live a more magical, miracle, love-based life, you ripple out an effect and influence of hope and of joy. You become an uplifter, not because of what you say or what you do, but because of who you are, which is God, which is an aspect of God, which is grace, which is love. So when you lose someone you love, allow yourself to cry the tears. Don't pretend that it doesn't hurt. It does. You know, I've cried for my brother-in-law. I've cried for my friend that committed suicide. I've experienced a lot of loss of those that I love. But through each of these, I've chosen to come back and put both feet in. I've chosen to open my heart wider and wider and wider. Our pain can constrict us and shut us down, or our pain can shatter us and break us open. And my intention is to be as open and present and loving as humanly possible, and maybe beyond, because our souls are so immense and so expansive. The possibilities are endless. And this is how we live heaven on earth. This is how we bring that state of Garden of Eden energy back to this planet of duality, where so many are struggling and suffering. So my hope and prayer for you is that despite the pain that you've experienced, which I know is immense, because each and every one of us has a story, if we told it fully, would break others' hearts. So I know you've traversed a lot of pain and sadness and hurt and heartbreak in your own life. And I bow to you in immense compassion, as I know angels are, as I know your loved ones on the other side of the veil is, and I know as God does. So open your heart to receive the compassion that's here for you. And then I hope you say yes. Yes to being the expression of the divine that you are. Yes to the love that is the truth and essence of who you are. Yes to this working vacation and the joy that is here and available to you. So if you're eating an ice cream cone, be really present for that. If you're sitting with a loved one, having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or some tea, open your heart all the way to be very present, to listen, to see, to energetically connect with. Be present for whatever is. And keep saying yes to being you, to being the exquisite aspect and expression of the divine that you are. My intention is to turn you inward to your own heart and soul, to relax into that place of peace and knowingness of your importance and love, to align with our higher selves and soul selves so that we can have a more peaceful, joyful, graceful, beautiful human experience. I think that's why God put this into motion. So we could have this experience of separation, like you're you, I'm me. We're sitting here with Bill and Cindy and Kim, and I'm sitting here with Aeon and Raul and Phil and Rick. And it seems like we're separate, but on some level we know that we are ultimately all one. We are all connected. It's not like we're similar. We are the same. It's like the hub, the spokes of a wheel all coming together in the hub. All of us are connected. All rivers lead to the ocean. All of us are ultimately, when we go high enough and deep enough in our consciousness, are aspects of one another. We are the same. We are the same. And so the divine in me in this moment acknowledges and bows to the divine in you, the exquisite, light-filled, love-filled, glorious being that you are. I hope you're feeling that and sensing that and enjoying the experience of being the soul that you are, the godlike energy, divine essence that you are on this beautiful, beautiful planet. I hope you're making the most of your adventure and loving the ones that have left before you, knowing that they're waiting for you on the other side of the veil. And what a homecoming it's going to be. It is going to be a glorious, glorious day, but don't be in any hurry to get there. Open your hearts to the ones that have left. Open your hearts to the ones that are still here. Open your heart, align with your soul, and say yes. Say yes to this life, to this experience. Make the most of it. And know that you're loved. Celebrate the love that you are. So be in touch with any of your thoughts, your feelings, your own personal experiences. I want to continue the conversation. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I'm enjoying it. I talk to people all the time. It's like, oh, I saw your Facebook Live, and I did get some value. Thank you. Keep doing it. And that's my intention, to continue to connect and celebrate with the divine, with you, with life, to say yes. So I hope you're saying yes. And let's just keep talking. Let's keep ascending. Let's keep being spiritual rock climbers, going higher and higher in the space and place of unconditional love within ourselves, so that we are rippling that out into the world, being the change we want to see. So God bless you. Take good, gentle, loving care of yourself. Be present for your life. Be present with each other. Be present in all that you do, and make the most of this glorious gift, this human experience. I've heard it said and believe it's true. There are billions of souls fighting to get onto this planet. We are some of the lucky ones that are here, that got to make it. So let's make the most of it. You are a gift. You are a blessing. You are a joy. I hope you know this. You feel this. You're celebrating this. And I'm holding you in my heart, my prayers. And let's continue the conversation. Again, you can private message me. You can email me at tammybphd@gmail.com, or just let's continue to communicate here on the thread. And know that you are deeply and profoundly and unconditionally and unfathomably loved. God bless you. Keep opening your hearts and saying yes. Onward and upward. Bye for now.